I think are we good to go, Robin? Can you tell? All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into our event about becoming a trademark examining attorney here at the United States Patent and Trademark Office. My name is Cynthia Trippi. I am a managing attorney here in trademark operations, and I'm joined today by Robin Mittler, who is also, did I say managing attorney? I hope I did, who is also a managing attorney. During this event, we will cover the trademark examining attorney role, how they support our mission, why our team members consider the USPTO a great place to work. So if you have any questions about your specific application or qualifications, please contact the HR specialist who is listed in the job announcement. Please note that today is being recorded. So let's go ahead and get started. Next slide, please. Oh, I think we switched. Today, we're going to do an overview of the trademark examining attorney position at the USPTO, but I wanted to start by sharing the USPTO's mission. So very succinctly, our mission is to drive U.S. innovation and global competitiveness for the benefit of all Americans. Next slide, please. On this slide with our Registering America's Success slogan, you'll find the URL and QR code that provide direct links to our Become an Examining Attorney webpage. That page is hosted on the USPTO.gov website, and you can access it by going to USPTO.gov and clicking on the Jobs link. But I want to mention it here because the majority of the information and content that we're going to discuss today is available on that website. So in the event that you have a question that isn't completely answered by the presentation, or you'd like to have a little bit more information about some aspect of what we're discussing today, I encourage you to go to that website. There is so much good information there, including the link to the current vacancy announcement for the examining attorney position and the instructions on how to apply. But we'll get to all of that in the course of the next half hour. And next slide, please. Okay, so on this slide, employment at the USPTO, we have some of the things that we benefit from as employees of the USPTO. So we have competitive salary, we have the comprehensive set of federal employee benefits, plenty of opportunities for career development, paid training, and flexible work schedules. Later in the presentation, Robin is going to give you more detail about each of these benefits that is enjoyed by the employees here at the USPTO. Next slide, please. So here we're going to talk about the trademark organization. The USPTO is the only place where you can apply for and receive a U.S. federal trademark registration. We don't really have any competitors. So if people are interested in protecting their trademarks on a nationwide scale, they come to us to apply for a federal trademark registration that gives them certain rights. So we are a community, by the way, of not just attorneys, but also of analysts and specialists dedicated to providing excellent quality, efficiency, and customer service. Our employees share an interest in serving the public good. So these are things that you're going to hear repeated, not just by me, not just by Robin, but also by examining attorneys whose comments we're going to highlight later in the presentation. So examining attorneys are organized into administrative divisions that we call law offices. Currently, I believe there are 38 law offices, somewhere in that neighborhood, and they are all led by a managing attorney. Some of them also have the support of a senior attorney. So a law office may have from 15 to, say, 29 examining attorneys. One of the questions we most frequently get is, are there differences in the types of applications that the different law offices handle? And the answer to that is no. All of the examining attorneys pull from the same electronic queue. So everyone reviews all different types of trademarks or all different types of marks. So trademarks, service marks, certification marks. And because everyone pulls from the same queue, everyone pulls things that relate to all different types of goods and services. So nobody specializes in a particular industry or type of goods and services. An examining attorney might begin the day with an application in one industry, say cosmetics, and then they will end the day with medical services, and probably throughout the day they'll see 8 or 10 other industries in their applications. Next slide, please. All right, what is our core business? What do examining attorneys do? We review trademark applications for compliance with the Lanham Act to determine whether a mark is eligible for registration in the United States. An examining attorney will pull, as I mentioned, a case from our electronic queue into their docket. And the first thing they'll do is they're going to search that the mark in that application against the marks in our database of pending and registered marks to ensure that the applied for mark doesn't confuse people. And then they're going to then review the rest of the application for legal sufficiency, making sure that it meets all of the substantive and procedural requirements. And if everything looks good, then they can just approve that for publication and hopefully for future registration and move on to the next application. But if there are issues to be addressed, they'll either write an office action, which is an official letter setting forth all of the issues that the applicant has to respond to, or they will work in a more informal way with the applicant or the applicant's attorney on the phone or through email to correct whatever defects exist in the application. Finally, examining attorneys also, actually, it might not be finally, there might be one more thing, but examining attorneys also draft appeal briefs and represent the USPTO before the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board, or the TTAB. That doesn't happen very frequently, a couple of times a year maybe, but if the applicant disagrees with an examining attorney's decision, they do have the right to appeal to the TTAB. Every now and then, and this is the extra part of the final, somebody will request an oral argument before a panel of 3 judges at the TTAB, and the examining attorney will represent the PTO and argue that at the TTAB. Next slide, please. I'm going to just briefly touch on the senior and managing attorney positions. Managing attorneys supervise examining attorneys and senior attorneys. They perform administrative and other management duties. They supervise issues with the TTAB. They assist with some of the more difficult cases. They serve as the primary contact with other business units within trademarks and the agency. I've been in this position for several years, as has Robin. I will speak for her as well as for myself and say that I have really enjoyed the managing attorney position. Senior attorneys, on the other hand, focus more on the training and supervision of the new attorneys. They also assist with the more difficult cases, and they assist the managing attorney, of course, with certain management tasks. And I have held this, like I said, for a few years. I really like this job. I found it very rewarding. The senior attorney position, though, was my favorite position because I did enjoy, in particular, training the new people coming in. And of course, there are opportunities for career progression and development, in other places in trademarks. But I will say many people do choose to be examining attorneys for their entire career here, and they are phenomenal at their jobs. But if you came in and you spent a few years and decided that you wanted to move on to a new position, the managing and senior attorney positions are among the positions that would be available to you. Next slide, please. Okay, now we're going to look at some of the testimonials that I mentioned from our trademark examining attorneys. You'll note that there's a common theme, a sense of satisfaction with the job, a culture of excellence. They like the challenging subject matter. People have a passion for the field. And of course, they share a dedication to public service. We're going to start with Obi here, who says, I love the work that I do. I take a lot of pride in practicing trademark law while also serving the public. After issues are resolved and applicants can more clearly see a pathway to getting a registered trademark, a flood of thank yous often follows. I happen to find those moments to be very humbling and gratifying, as quality customer service is a core objective at the USPTO. Next slide. Kamal says that this job allows her to be continually challenged and to grow as an attorney and to maintain the life outside of work that she has always wanted. Next slide. Jacqueline notes that there's a culture of excellence in all we do, which I completely agree with. From the review of trademarks to our willingness to help the public by offering superior customer service. Next slide. Cameron says that to be a great examining attorney, you need attention to detail, the ability to find fun in every application, and a passion for intellectual property law and public service. And this may be my favorite quote because it does really sum up the kinds of qualities that we find in many of our successful trademark examining attorneys. Next slide. Okay, here's the fun part for me and Robin. We get to tell you about our own journeys here, what brought us to the USPTO. So I want to mention that our employees do come from many different types of backgrounds. We have engineers, we have musicians, we have language majors like me. So other than a law degree, there really is no particular educational background or legal experience that's necessary because we teach you everything you need to know to be successful as an examining attorney. But as for me, I went to the George Washington University Law School, and while I was there, I took trademarks and copyrights, but I was very interested in pursuing a career as a litigator, and I did want to focus on antitrust. So I spent 7 years doing litigation, mostly complex litigation in the fields of antitrust and environmental law. And then I went in-house to a large trade association. And while I was there, I was asked to manage a very extensive trademark portfolio in addition to the litigation work I was doing. And I loved it. And so I decided to apply to the PTO to become an examining attorney. And when I did it, I really thought that I would go back to litigation just with a new subject matter focus. But that was in 1995. And here I am 30 years later at the USPTO because honestly, I can't imagine a better place to work. So I'm going to hand it over to Robin now so she can tell you about her journey and also more about life at the USPTO.
Thank you, Cindy. Hi, everyone. As Cindy said, I'm Robin Mittler, and I am also a managing attorney here at the USPTO. I went to law school at the College of William and Mary, and my third year there, I took an IP survey course. The trademarks portion was very small, just a couple weeks, but I really, really liked it. But I already had a job lined up at an environmental law firm, so I kind of forgot about trademarks for a while, to be honest. I eventually decided that environmental law was really, really, really boring and I wanted to do something else. And government work appealed to me more than staying at a firm. So I got a job as a staff attorney at the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit. That was a 2-year term position. They treat it kind of like a clerkship. So when it was almost over, I started looking for other government jobs and I saw the announcement for the trademark examiner job on USA Jobs, and it said you didn't need to have prior trademark experience. So I thought, I might as well try it. I remembered how much I really loved my trademark courses, and I said, I'll decide to take a chance and let me see if it works out. And here I am. I've been here since 2006, so May will be 20 years. I was an examiner for about 12 years, then a senior attorney for 6 years, and now I've been a managing attorney for a couple of years. And obviously, really love it here. Here I am. So next slide, please. Okay, now we are going to talk about life at the USPTO. Next slide, please. So career development. We mentioned this vaguely a little bit earlier, but wanted to give you a little more detail because something that's really important is your career trajectory. You're probably not going to want to do the same job for your entire career. You might, but you might not. So it's always good to have options. And there are numerous opportunities for career progression and development right here throughout trademarks. But nearly all of the positions in trademarks are filled by people who were once trademark examining attorneys, which is the current job posting that's out right now. So there are a lot of people who love the examining job, stay examining attorneys for many years or for their entire careers, but there are others who decide that they want to do something else. So they might choose to go into law office management, like Cindy and I did, where we're supervising other trademark attorneys. And there are other departments such as policy or outreach, or you can go into executive leadership if you like managing people. So there are a ton of different career ladders available, but they all start with that examining attorney position, which is really nice. There's a lot of room for growth. In addition, if you think that you might want to try something out, but you don't want to take a permanent position, we generally have several work projects and career development details that are available. And those are temporary opportunities to work in a different business unit or a different part of the agency. So, for example, I did a work project as a mentor before I went into management, and the mentors are the folks who train the new examining attorneys. So, I was helping with training the new hires, and I really liked that. Previously, I had done a work project with the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board. Kind of wanted to see behind the scenes of how the trademark judges do their work. Coming from the DC Circuit, I thought that was what I wanted to do. And then I did the work project and said, okay, this is really interesting, but I don't know that I want to do this forever. And so I did the mentoring, and honestly, I didn't think I was going to like it. And it turned out that I loved it. And then from there, senior attorney and then manager kind of became the next step. So doing those work projects really set me on a different career path than I thought they would. So it's really good to have the opportunity to try different things out. And there's a lot of that here. Lots of opportunities. In addition, the office also offers continuing legal education. As you probably know, to remain a member of the bar actively in most states, you have to have a certain amount of legal education every year or 2 years. And the USPTO provides that. And just as an example, I am barred in New Jersey. I need to do 24 credit hours of continuing legal education every 2 years. And for this reporting period, I got 23 of them from the PTO, and I would have had the 24th, except it was for a specific kind of class that I needed for New Jersey that I had to take through New Jersey. So I didn't have to pay for most of my CLE, and the office took care of it. So that's a really nice little perk too. Next slide, please. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our salary, and to do that, I'm going to have to talk a little bit about the positions that come out. So right now, the postings are for GS11 trademark examining attorneys. That's what the job posting is right now. We're going to explain all the levels in case other postings come out later on. So the lowest level that an examining attorney can start at is a GS9 position, and those positions are for applicants who have graduated law school but have not yet been sworn into the bar. But then as soon as they get sworn into the bar, they can transition to become a GS11, which is a higher salary. I think the difference is somewhere about $10,000 or $12,000. So it's nice to get that bump up right away. Candidates for the GS11 posting have already been sworn into the bar. And then you advance very quickly through GS12, 13, and 14 levels. You get to a 14 generally within 3 years. And that's pretty unusual in most federal jobs. GS14 is competitive, and so not everyone gets it. But generally here, as long as you are, doing a good job and you decide that you want to become a GS14, you can. So that bumps the salary up higher than a lot of federal attorney jobs, which is nice. Also, an exciting part of the job, experienced trademark attorneys who have excellent quality and high volumes of work can earn production and quality bonuses throughout the year. So there are a lot of bonuses here, which again is also pretty unusual for a federal job. So there are a lot of opportunities to make more money above and beyond your salary. And then also, depending on office needs, examiners can also earn overtime pay or do comp time, which you would take instead of annual leave. So it increases the amount of leave you can take each year. So we're very flexible here, and those are a lot of good perks and good pay. So next slide, please. So trademark examining attorneys receive the general federal employee benefits. There's health insurance, life insurance. You can get voluntary long-term care insurance. You get paid annual and sick leave. We also have our retirement benefits under FERS, which is the Federal Employee Retirement System. That means you get a pension. And then also our thrift savings plan, which is our version of a 401k. It does have matching up to 5% depending on how much you put in. So that's also a really nice benefit. It basically adds 5% to your salary. And on our campus where I am right now, there's a daycare center, there's a fitness center. Fitness center right now is $15 a month, very reasonable. It's a really nice fitness center. There's a health unit. You can get flu shots and allergy shots and checkups and things there. Rumor has it we may be getting a doggy daycare. Waiting to see if that happens. If you take the metro train or the bus, you'll get a public transportation subsidy. And there's also a garage on campus where you can park for $15 a month. The office subsidizes that too, so that is really great. So those are the benefits we have. Next slide, please. So training. I will say from my experience at the court, when I first started at the DC circuit, I was thrown into an office with files and said, there you go, and got no training and had to ask all of my coworkers who were strangers what to do and how to use their proprietary computer systems. So I was very pleased when I came here to find out that there was a comprehensive training program. It's evolved over the years. It's really great, and you don't need any experience in trademark law to join the trademark office, as we mentioned before, because you get this comprehensive training. You don't have to have any knowledge or background. New attorneys are given this thorough training. You learn about the applicable law, the procedures, and our computer programs, everything you need to know to become a successful trademark examining attorney. It starts with several weeks of classroom-based training at the beginning of your employment, and then after that, you will actually get individualized mentor feedback on all your work product for the first 2 years. So during that 2-year period, while you're being supervised, you learn the job and you'll eventually gain increasing competence and independence. And by the end of that 2 years, you're going to be a trademark legal expert. And then you can go off on your own without any supervision. So it's a great training program. It's a great benefit to have. You are paid during training. Again, super unusual, really, really nice to have. Next slide, please. Okay, we're going to talk about opportunities and how to apply. Next slide, please. Which positions are we currently seeking to fill? As I've already mentioned, the GS11 position is the position that is open now. The GS9 law clerk position is for someone who had graduated law school but not yet sworn into the bar. And then the attorney advisor position, which is the GS11 position that's open now, you have to have been sworn into the bar already. In the past, we've hired attorneys who are returning, which means they worked here before, left for some reason, decided to come back, and they can come back at 12, 13, or 14, depending on on when they left. So those are the different positions. Right now, the GS11 is open, and we'll talk a little later about how to set up an alert if you think you'd qualify for, for the 9 and not the 11 and want to know for the future. Next slide, please. So these are the basic requirements for a job here at the USPTO. You have to be a US citizen or national. You have to have a JD or LLM from an accredited law school. You need to have an active bar membership from any state for the GS11, as we've said. Because we practice federal trademark law, it doesn't matter which state you were barred in, or it could also be from like DC or Puerto Rico. It can be from a territory too. You must be registered for the selective service if applicable, and you must be suitable for federal employment, which is kind of a catch-all. Next slide, please. So how do you apply? We'll give you a QR code in a couple of slides, and you can just hover your phone over the QR code, and that will take you to the job posting, or you can log into usajobs.gov and just search for trademark. And if you don't qualify this time or can't apply this time but are interested for the future, if we don't currently have a posting open, we recommend you set up a notification for future job announcements using the keyword trademark. And that way, say you just graduated law school, you're taking the bar this summer, you're not, qualified yet, but you're interested for next fall. If you set up that alert, you'll see the trademark job postings come out. Also, if you qualify right now for a 9 but not an 11, please set up an alert because there may be a 9 posting coming out too. We're not 100%, but it's good to know, good to have the alert set up if you're interested. Next slide, please. How long is the application process? Like everything in the government, things take a while. So this is about an 18-week timeline. It's actually a lot shorter than a lot of other agencies, believe it or not. For the posting that is open right now, we expect the new class to be starting their training in mid to late April.